I got these grades at GCSEs and I did not get these grades in my mocks. There was a huge improvement, trust me. So I had to put in a lot of work so I know what it feels like not to be good at a subject and how to actually get to these grades. So in this video, I'm going to walk you through how to get those grades for every single one of them. This is also to say thank you for hitting 3,000 on TikTok and Instagram. Huge, absolutely huge. So thank you guys for that. This did take a long time to make. So if you don't mind, chuck me a like. First, we'll start with business, which I got a 9 in, and this was for AQA, but for business, a lot of them are pretty similar. So there'll be three main things for business. It's going to be flashcards, first of all. For business, there's a lot of knowledge to know. So get yourself a flashcards from Quizlet or from like Anki and stuff. Get the flashcards done for those, and also practice the calculation questions because those are the ones, pretty easy marks and actually catches some people out. So do a few practice ones on those. Third, get really good at analyzing within context. A lot of business questions are asking you the pros and cons of one aspect in comparison to another, and you just need to apply it to the context they give you. So why is this so good within the context of that business? Get really good at that. Do a few practice papers on like the 6 markers, just analyzing, and you'll be fine. I'd recommend Save My Exams. They're always good for past papers, so just go on there. They have loads of past papers you can walk through. Do it, mark them, and compare your answer with the mark scheme. Next up is combined science. Oh, I hated science. I was on frozen mocks, I promise you. But combined science, I got 2 9s, which, to be honest, the grade boundaries for science are pretty low, especially combined science. So if you're taking combined and you're worried, just know that you can get a really, really good grade. Science, 2 things: knowledge and mark scheme. Get all the knowledge down and get the mark scheme in your head, and you'll do fine. Knowledge-wise, again, I'd use flashcards, Quizlet, Anki. Get the combined science flashcards and just do them. You can cram them before your exam, definitely possible. I wouldn't recommend it, but you gotta do what you gotta do. And in terms of the mark scheme, especially for things like biology, the mark scheme is really specific. So I'd go through at least 2 to 3 past papers on things like biology. Compare the mark scheme, what they want from you for each question. And once you familiarize yourself with those, you'll get really comfortable going through an entire paper. Also really important for science is the 6 markers, required practicals. There's always gonna be one. It's always gonna be one of the required practicals. So just know them off by heart. Please, just cram them. I don't care if it's the morning before exam, just cram that before the exam. And you'll know it. It's just 6 marks. Know the 6 bullet points that you can do and just try to know them off by heart, because it's 3 marks. Okay, next is English language. I got 7. Didn't like English language. I hated it. It was boring. But the main things with English language is the techniques that they use in the extract and how you can extract them and explain them, what that does to the reader. I'd recommend for this YouTube. YouTube is fantastic for English language. Mr. Salles, Mr. Braff, Mr. Everything English, they're all good. And just listen to what they have to say, because first of all, it is really valuable and the videos aren't too long. They're 10 to 15 minutes and you get really, really great value for that. And for the actual practice itself, I wouldn't bother doing things like flashcards on the language techniques, because you either know them or you don't. If you're really that bad, I guess you can do a few, but I myself would focus on the past papers, doing enough past papers that you feel comfortable taking things out of the extract and explaining what they do. Other than that, I think a lot depends on the extract you get on the day and whether you get lucky or unlucky. But honestly, if you just get good at the question structure, because it's always going to be the same question structure that comes up for English language, if you just get used to it, you'll be fine. Do a few past papers, watch these YouTube videos. I can't underestimate how good they are. Keep watching the YouTube videos until you get really comfortable with what they're actually asking from you for the question. Next up, English literature. I hated English literature, but I still got a 9 because I flopped it in mocks. I was so bad, but I rescued it. I had a biggest comeback of my life. Out of everything, that was the biggest improvement I'd say that I did. So how did I do it? Exemplar questions. No, exemplar essays. Exemplar essays are so good. You write your thing. So I'll take a past paper for English literature, let's say Macbeth. You write your response to the question. Compare it to an exemplar essay that got like full marks, and you see what you missed. What they did, just copy what they did. You don't have to be original. All the things that they're saying, just copy it. And I know it might be a different extract on the day, but it's about how they're analyzing it and how they're taking each individual word and then saying, or how does that impact the reader? How does that impact the mood of the extract? Just take what they're doing. Once you do that a few times and you really familiarize yourself on how it actually works, how to actually analyze, and with the help of the YouTube channels that I mentioned before, you'll be fine as long as you get that actual structure down and also key skills that'll get you those marks. You also do need to know the content for English literature because the quotes are important. I recommend Mr. Everything English. He's great for this. He has these videos of like the 10 quotes you need to know, and that just learn those 10. Just know it off by heart. I know you might be lazy or I don't want to learn it. Just blurt them. Learn the 10, and then after like a few hours, write down as many as you can remember and then fill in the blanks. You do that, I promise you, do that like 5 times a day. And then by the end of the week, you'll know them off by heart. Like you can just German. I got 3. Don't be like me. I didn't revise. I didn't try. It's because I already had a 9 in Chinese and I didn't need it. But it's a bad attitude. Don't be like me. One of my biggest regrets was maybe I could have put a bit more effort in German because it is a good language and I should have learned it, but I didn't. Don't be like me. But if you have another language and you don't really need it. Okay, next one is religious studies. This I got 8 in, and this I actually really struggled with because no offense, I just didn't like Islam. Christianity was pretty easy because that's the communities like I've interacted with. But Islam, I never had like any preconceived ideas about it. I didn't know anything about it, and I found it really difficult to learn because it was a lot of Islamic words that were, I say, difficult to remember. But nothing against Islam. I think it's a really good religion. Don't cancel me. I just struggled learning it. And with religious studies, I found the best help actually were from my teachers. Before the exam, there were like a few help sessions that they ran, which were really helpful. And basically, a few questions they just predicted. They told me what was going to be on it. Of course, it was just guessing, but they were so accurate. What they said was going to come up actually came up. So if you're struggling with religious studies, I would go ask your teachers. And if they do run any help sessions or anything, please go to them. Because for something like religious studies, it's so much, because there's so much content. It is so much about what is actually going to come up, and just knowing it will get you marks. So if your teachers are good, please go ask them about anything you need help with. And if they run any help sessions, do go. I know I went and it was just my Saturday. I didn't want to waste my Saturday, but I went and it was really, really helpful. So please do go. Next up is an 8 in citizenship. I was expecting a 9 here. I was pretty disappointed with the 8. And a lot of it is about interest. But if you get your flashcards done, if you have the knowledge, and then do a little bit on exam skills, you should be all good. On the actual essay itself, a lot of citizenship is about knowing the content. And once you know the content, just putting it on paper, just proving to the examiner that you do know it. I just recommend flashcards for this, and also mind maps are really useful. And when you make mind maps, make them coloured. So for example, for citizenship, if you're going to do one unit, I did a unit in the middle, and I branch off in 4 different colours of the different subsections of the unit. And then when I'm recalling it, I'll close my eyes and I'll just reimagine the mind map, and it'll just come to me. If you're struggling to remember something in citizenship, do some mind maps, make them colourful, make them easy to remember, and then just take a picture of it with your mind. And then when you need to recall it, just remember the little branches, what links to what and what links to what here. And penultimate one is history. This got 8 in. Again, I wanted a 9 in this. 8 was a bit disappointing, and I was just not too far off a 9. There's a lot of content, I'm not gonna lie to you, there's a lot of content, but it is spread out through a few papers. So I'll do my flashcards and do your due diligence on like the nuances of the topic, because you never know what's going to come up. And I found that even the random stats that I got like 5 minutes before the exam starts was useful. Just try and learn the little nuanced stats and involve them, and that'll help you bring you up to another grade. But of course, with history, a lot of it is exam techniques, how to actually structure the essays. And there is a few good YouTube videos, but again, your teachers are going to be really important. Ask them, if you have any questions, ask them about what needs to be structured, what needs to be mentioned. How do you actually structure the essay to gain you more marks? Because for history, so much of it is exam structure, and so little of it is remembering all the facts and details. They help, but they're not the things that are going to give you the marks. So please, get to know the exam structure for history. And lastly, my least favourite subject, maths. And that's not because of any of my teachers or the subject itself. I just hate maths. I'm not good at maths and I don't like it, but still got a 7. That's an A technically, I think, and I got it through a lot of hard work. Really did have to work hard. I wasn't good at maths in my mocks, I wasn't good at maths throughout my GCSEs, but I knew I needed at least a decent grade, so I had to put that work in. And for maths, a lot of it is on YouTube. If you find the GCSE past paper walkthroughs, where they'll just sit there and they'll walk through the entire past paper with you, showing you what to do for each question. I found those really helpful. I just do the questions as they show them, and then I'll compare how I did it to how they did it. And it is helpful to just, they kind of guide you through the entire past paper. And again, when you finish doing that, do more past papers. Do one every week, at least one every week. And maths is just practice. There's no trick to it. Just grinding the questions. Any topic you're not sure of, watch a video, then do 2 pages of questions. And anything you're not sure of, do more questions. And if there's a topic like you used to know but you forgot, do more questions. That's why I hate maths, because it's just doing questions. But yeah, unfortunately that is just what you have to do. But yeah, that was just a quick little glossary on all the things that I did for my GCSEs. And I hope it helps. And if it did, subscribe to the channel, give me a like, and yeah, thank you very much. I'll do more in-depth content on like each topic as they go, but I feel like this was useful to just give you a rundown on like the basic things for every topic, and I hope it did help. Bye bye.